Hey, welcome to Travis Vibes. Today I'm going to dive into N8N, a powerful workflow automation product that will also allow you to leverage AI within the workflow automations that you build. I love this product. I've used it at previous roles, and I have a potential client that's looking to work with me on how to streamline their e-commerce business. So my mind immediately jumped to N8N. Today, I'm going to show you a workflow that I'm going to build to demo to a potential client and just kind of get you excited about what's possible with N8N. What I really like about N8N is the fact that you can host on their cloud and the pricing is reasonable. But importantly, you can go to GitHub, go to their repo, and they have all the documentation that you need to run N8N fully self-hosted. It's really important for me that if I'm going to put a client on a product or I'm going to use a product myself, that I don't want this product to get shut down and all of that work is wasted. With N8N, I know while I probably will run it on their cloud initially, if I scale up and I start using a lot of automations, I can always self-host, or if N8N, I doubt this will happen, but if they shut down, I'm still okay. All of my workflow automations can still function. One more thing I'll touch on that I like about N8N, and then we'll dive into making our demo workflow. They have a great community and they have an entire site where you can go and get inspired with what other people have built as far as different use cases for N8N. And it's really easy to actually grab any of these workflows and start experimenting with them, tweaking them for your own use cases. It's as simple as just copy pasting the underlying JSON that is the data of the workflows into your instance of N8N. Okay, demo time. So the Gilded Eye is a Shopify website that I put together for the demo to this e-commerce client. And I really like when demos are as real as possible. They have a Shopify site. I set up my own Shopify site selling very classy, various expensive monocles. So we have this site, we have one product, the Orbis Noctis monocle. And my idea for our demo workflow is we want to trigger an automation based on an action that a user of the Shopify site does. Let's dive into N8N now. This is my running instance of N8N, and I have some demo workflows that I've been putting together, and we're going to start with a brand new workflow. The other thing to point out, I have a specific project for the Gilded Eye. You can have multiple projects. All of the typical SaaS expectations are here in N8N. Credentials is where you're going to create all of your connections to integrations that you are going to want to leverage within your automations. So I've set up credentials already for the Shopify site. I've set up credentials for my OpenAI API key because we're going to leverage OpenAI's image generation for the demo. And then I've also set up SendGrid for sending out emails, transactional emails from your workflows. So there is a long list of already pre-built integrations that you can set up within N8N. And ultimately, N8N also allows you to run custom code blocks. So there's really nothing you can't build. All right, let's build a workflow together right now. All right, I create a workflow. The first step you're always going to have in a workflow is the trigger. So what actually causes this automation to start? When you're first testing, you can do basic triggers like triggering manually by just clicking on that step, or you can have it run on a schedule. You can have it run from a webhook. All of these things are possible. We are going to actually use our Shopify integration that we've set up to have the trigger be something that is coming from Shopify. In this case, what I'm going to demo is similar to an abandoned cart process. but we're going to have it simplified and we're going to make it run pretty fast for demo purposes. Ultimately, what I want to have happen is I want us to receive a trigger whenever somebody moves into the checkout phase of their Shopify flow. So here we'll do on checkout created. And we really don't need to do any. This is now a detailed view of this specific step in our workflow automation. We don't need to do anything else here. It's a pretty basic setup. So we have our trigger. Then the next thing we want to do is receive that information and then do something with it. But first, let's start by actually just testing whether the trigger itself works. So by going into here, we can start listening for a test event. And what I'll do is I'll jump into my other tab, my Shopify site. I'm going to add a monocle to my cart, and then I'm going to check out. So we just moved into a checkout phase of the flow, and you can see if I jump back to my N8N tab, it's no longer listening for an event because it actually got triggered already. And we pulled in information about that specific checkout. And because I was actually a signed in user of Shopify, say that I'm a return customer to your site, I know in this case, the person's email address. If this was an anonymous user coming to my Shopify site, I wouldn't have their email. So we would probably want to have different flows, conditional if statements within our flow based on, is this a returning customer or a new customer? We're going to assume in this demo that this is a return customer, so we have their email address. Great. So this step is working. I'm going to jump back to the canvas and we're going to add our next step. My concept is I want to use OpenAI's image generation capability to dynamically make a product image that has some custom engraved name of the person that's in the checkout. You'll see as we go here. Remember, I already have OpenAI credentials set up for my OpenAI API key, which is going to be leveraged to generate an image. So you can see we have an image actions section. I'm going to do generate an image. Like I said, credentials on my OpenAI account. And model, I want to use GPT Image 1. That's the latest image generation model from ChatGPT and will give you the best quality. And for a prompt, I actually have a pre-prepared prompt because I am lazy and I use ChatGPT to generate it for me. So let me go and grab that. I prompted ChatGPT to give me a prompt that will generate an image for a very classy, fancy monocle pouch that's similar to the same feel as the rest of my Shopify site. So a high-end product photograph of an antique leather carrying case, blah, 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 blah. So, okay. You can also adjust the quality and the resolution. I don't think we need to mess with that here. And so but the important thing though, is that at the end of my prompt, what's going to be cool is let's actually engrave the customer's email address onto this thing. Well, actually, let's start by not using that. So we executed our test step just to see if this is working. Ooh, very nice looking monocle pouch there. But again, we want to have something that makes this dynamic, that makes this catch the customer by surprise. How do they engrave my own name onto this photo and send it to me? So where we can do that is actually by using expressions within the prompts. And this is supported, in any of the N8N workflow steps. So I don't even need to type it. I think I can just drag this in. So now we are referencing data from the previous automation step, the previous workflow step, and we're grabbing that email address. I do want to use a little bit of snippet of code to grab just the first part of the username instead of, it being travis.irby@gmail.com, just travis.irby for now. Use ChatGPT to tell me, give me a little JavaScript command to split this data point. I think that should do it. Then you can see the result down here of what we just did. So if I remove that split, we're back to the full address. So don't forget, these ChatGPT, Claude will be great at giving you these little code snippets. Okay, so I will just tweak this a little bit more. Engrave prominently the customer's name. Okay, so now if I rerun this again, let's take a look at what happened. The image has been generated. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, see? Now this is something that we're gonna really grab the client's attention with. It's specialized, it's customized. All right, so this is working. Let's add one final step, which would be sending this to the customer. I have set up SendGrid. So I will go to send email. I'll send this from my account. And the recipient's email, we're going to actually, you can see we don't have access to the email address in the OpenAI step, but when you're building these automations, you can grab data from any previous step. So I will shift to the Shopify trigger step and again, drag this into the proper field. And now the recipient's always going to be dynamically set to the proper email address. Message body, subject. We're going to make our subject also customized, similar to what we did with the previous step. Hey, Travis Irby, you need a classy quote. And then under additional fields, one of the options would be attachments. And then this part I kind of stumbled on. I wanted to make it more complicated than it actually is. How do you pass the OpenAI image to the attachment? And with my research, by the way, a nice little tidbit here. If you get stuck on anything in N8N, this AI assistant on the bottom right has helped me because it goes and looks at all the N8N documentation, the N8N community forums. So if you get stuck on a question, something's not clicking, try the AI assistant first. In this case, for the attachment, I'm actually just wanting to send data. N8N has a special understanding of this specific term that it's going to go and grab the data from the previous step. So if I test this, let's execute. All right. So I guess I got to go over to my email now. All right. Let's go over to my email and see. Yes. Hey, Travis Irby. We probably would want to send a link back to the Shopify site. We'd want the timing of all of this to probably not occur right at checkout. That's all part of building these workflows out. This is a demo workflow, so I just want to keep it streamlined and simple. We've tested our workflow working end to end. Now we can activate the workflow, and that will put it into opt-in mode where any checkouts on my shop will now trigger this event. And another really great thing that we have built into N8N directly is the observability and visibility into every single run of your automation, whether it succeeded or failed, and specifically what data was passed for each step in every execution. This makes me a lot more confident in deploying this product into production because I have visibility into every single execution of every automation. I hope that this video got you excited about N8N and the possibilities of what you can build with it. There are really endless possibilities. And if you're a business that's looking to leverage N8N for your automation needs, feel free to reach out.